Actually, I have seen a gun. I never sold drugs. Did I ever sell drugs? No. A black woman on. I'm not going to say the name of the podcast. And I'm like, what the hell thing? Amazon, I tried to order elf ears for this video. Where the hell is elf ears for black people? There are none. Hello everyone. How's it going today? Hi. Once I figure out how to edit confetti in, I will do that. Okay. It's probably not going to be in this video. You guys, I went to the dollar store yesterday, right? Shout out Joy at Dollar Tree. She said she was going to subscribe to my channel. Okay. And I got some random stuff. I got all this random stuff. Oh, and I got these little scrunchies too. Okay, so today, if you haven't guessed, I'm sure the title will say, we are doing a fairy style beat. Okay, so if you've been seeing going around Instagram, there has been a lot of girls. There's this one girl, she's so pretty. When I find her, I'll put her in here. A lot of girls doing like this fairy style beat. Okay, it is very it's like a fairy elf mythical-ish kind of beat, but it's like you can wear it on an everyday. We are gonna do that today. We're gonna test that today. And then I have flowers and stuff that I'm gonna do in my hair when I'm done. I'm feeling extra dorky today, extra blerdy, nerdy, black nerd, whatever today, because you know, Game of Thrones is back, so while we do our nice little fairy beat, test this out, we're also gonna have an interesting conversation about why is it such a taboo to be a black nerd, and why aren't there more black nerds, blerds in the media? Why are black people okay with being nerdy? Why do black people feel like they can't be nerdy or they can't be out about their nerdiness? It's something they have to like hide, and when you get to know them, we're gonna dive into representation and fantasy, okay? Because there's a dilemma. Okay, take two. So I filmed the fairy look and I hated it, so we're gonna do this again. Okay, I'm gonna be using a color switch and I have a makeup wipe this entire time, so if you're like, ew, your brush is dirty, yeah, it is, but I'm using a color switch, so chill out. So I'm gonna kind of do this very blown out. My eyebrows are kind of like spacey and they don't look as done, because with the fairy look, you're supposed to have like not too kept eyebrows. They're supposed to kind of look a little bit more natural. I have a hard time doing natural eyebrows, but anyway. Next step, we're gonna take this little morph brush. I got like a knockoff morph set, I guess, and mine don't have numbers on them, so boop. I'm gonna go in like this. I got inspired to do this video by the makeup, but then I got an idea for the talking point when I was watching a Jackie Aina video. If you guys don't know who Jackie Aina is, like, come on. Where she was basically talking about how, like, darker skinned women that are represented in media are always like the bombshell knockout model, or like big old booty, like on Instagram, like the big old booty type of girl with the big old tits and the lace front and the, you know, just a 2-inch waist. And like, that is so great, and I'm happy for you guys if you have that body. But she was saying like they don't ever show like black women who are nerds. I decided, let's talk about the rise of the black nerd, because I myself am a black nerd, and if you're a black nerd or you're just a nerd, sometimes you can feel ostracized, you know, or if you're like just a woman of color or a person of color, not just black, who's a nerd. It's not glorified in the media to be a black nerd. It's like made to look like uncool or geeky or dorky, or like nobody's gonna want you unless it's like a movie and by chance the like prettiest girl in the world likes you or something. Okay, I'm gonna take this big brush and I'm gonna blow it all out, and I'm gonna kind of like just pull it up. And why black nerds aren't represented in fantasy films and all that type of stuff, but we're gonna get into that later. I got punched in the eye. Come on. And I'm gonna talk about my personal experiences as a black nerd. So for me, I find that it's hard to have a lot in common with people, because black people are portrayed in the media to be really one-sided, that they're one type of person, really, when there's so many different kinds of black people. Like, there's so many different kinds of people in general. Like, we're not all the same way, just like we don't all have the same body. You know, all white girls are not a size 0. And it's like, you know, I think that also has to do with like this social media culture, but like that's a topic for another day. As a black nerd, I feel like it's rare and it's hard to meet people that you find that like you can be friends with, you can have something in common with, and you can do things with. There's not a lot of black people who are like into Harry Potter, into, you know, Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And there might be, but they might not feel comfortable like coming out about it. It's not cool to be that way. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, yeah, there are a lot of black people who are raised like hood or in the streets. I don't even know what that means. Honestly, I sound stupid saying that. But then there's a lot of black people who aren't. You know what I mean? Who don't come from that background. I'm taking the shade Zuba with my finger and we're just gonna blow it out. There's a lot of black people who don't come from that type of background. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of black people who are into musical theater. There's a lot of black people who are into like all types of things. And it's like, if you're into those things, you're ostracized, or you're made to feel like you're weird, or you're made to feel like, what? What's wrong with you? Like, something is wrong with you. And it's like, no, nothing's wrong with you. And also, like, being someone who was bullied, like, I was always bullied growing up, and I was mainly bullied by other black kids because they didn't understand why I acted the way that I acted, or why I dressed the way that I dressed, and I was considered to act white. There's no such thing as acting a race, okay? I think we all know that here. Be you, be yourself. And I think like there is no like there needs to be platforms for black nerds. I'm gonna just use the same color with this and kind of just make it more like even a bit. Oh, I've been using the Juvia's Place Magic palette, if you don't know. And it's like, you know, kids now are like, they're just crazy about bullying, especially because there's so many different ways you can bully people now because of social media. Kids are crazy about bullying. They don't show that black girl who's like going to Comic-Con and getting A's on her test, and, you know, like, where's the black Harry Potter YouTubers, you know? Come on, guys, we gotta get more involved with this, okay? Where's the Spanish? Pretty much it for the eyeshadow. I mean, we're gonna do finishing touches once I put my mascara on, but it's just gonna be really blown out and really kind of like not too detailed. Okay, so I'm gonna take my MAC strobe cream because it's all about that glow, okay? Fairies are like glowing. They're like putting pixie dust around. Excuse my nail. Maybe one day I won't be lazy and I'll go get it. And then I'm using the Sephora Luminous Drops in the shade Ultralight. Every black girl feels like she has to have a big butt and big boobs or she's not validated. And I want to tell you, you are validated because you're you. Like, you are you and there's only one of you, and like, you don't need social media to validate you. And I think it's part of like us as human beings. Let's change that, you know? Like, this is Touch and Soul Professional, or No Problem, sorry, No Problem. No problem. So then I'm taking my Forever Skin Glow Dior foundation in the shade CN. I'm gonna pump that on my hand, and then I'm gonna mix I'm just going all out with the dew because I feel like I need to be super glowy, probably sweaty looking, but that's fine. Be yourself. And I feel like people get a lot of you get a lot of flack, and it's like from everybody. Like, when I was like nerdy, when I like worked at Hooters and stuff, like I would get so much flack from like customers because I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, I'm gonna be this hood ass girl? Like, if I wasn't a hood ass girl, I'm not gonna fake and be somebody that I'm not. And I think like that's a thing for like black people because of the media. They feel like they have to act a certain way or be a certain way, and it's like, you don't have to be that way. You can just be you. But also, another thing, which is the next point I want to get to, is representation. I don't look like, come on. As a fantasy writer, I need you guys to write in characters of color, and not just African American characters, just characters of color, of minorities, of different things, because It ain't happening. Okay, and I know representation is important for kids to see because you don't see a lot of like fantasy characters being black. It just, I guess it just doesn't fit in with the MIDI. I don't know. You don't see that. Like, everybody always talks about, and like will live on in history, that awesome ass Brandy that was, I mean not Brandy, Cinderella, where it was like the most inclusive fantasy movie like ever made in the world. Okay? Ever made. And we need to bring that back.
Are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream?
I do not know that this is so. I only just suppose.
And that was in like 1999 or something like that. Like, we need to bring that back. Like, even for instance, Game of Thrones, which is a very popular show, I'm pretty sure like 95% of the population watches it. There's only 2 black characters, and I believe they're both mixed. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not saying just because they're light-skinned or biracial. I don't know. Where is the representation? And I get it, a lot of like stuff like Lord of the Rings was written in 1940, so they're not worrying about representation. But Harry Potter was written in what, like the 90s? So JK, girl. I'm definitely kidding, because she definitely addressed the fact that like she didn't put a lot of different race characters in Harry Potter. And I do feel like they do a better job in Fantastic Beasts. Like, that's something that she definitely works on. Honestly, I always wanted to be an elf in Lord of the Rings. I always wanted to marry Legolas. I think Legolas was like my first crush, honestly. Orlando Bloom, congratulations on getting engaged. But he was looking good, okay, as Legolas in Lord of the Rings. Let's just put the cat out the bag, because I know you all think the same thing as me. So please, don't even try it. Amazon, I tried to order elf ears for this video. Where the hell is elf ears for black people? There are none, okay? We can be elves too. We gotta do better with the nerd representation. Like, we can be in fantasy movies too. We can be in elves too. We can be in Middle Earth. Like, and I think that's another thing that like a lot of black kids, they don't see themselves in those things, so they think that they can't be it. You know, we got Black Panther for Avengers, which is great, but like, don't just do it because you feel like you're obligated to do it because now everything's about representation. No, just do it because what the hell? Like, the world doesn't look one color anymore. It hasn't for a while. It actually never has, you know? Also in anime too, like I guess, and that's weird because you always think anime is made by Asians, but like the anime characters are always like blonde and white with like big boobs. Like, they're rarely actually Asian, which is kind of weird, but I don't know. I mean, I never really understood that. I don't know. Oh, I'm using the Fenty Powder in the shade Honey. Okay guys, I took off my contoured my face a little bit with this deep tan from NYX. And now we're gonna do our under eyes. Also, another thing I want to touch on, because I'm sure somebody's gonna say this, that a lot of people think that a lot of like black people and Spanish, like different Spanish people, black people that I've talked to, think that things like Harry Potter are demonic, kind of, or like whatever. They think that it's like witchcraft is like demonic, but it's really not. They don't really talk about religion. Also, another thing, if you're letting your kids listen to freaking Trippie Redd and Lil Uzi, who have like the 666s tatted all over them, then you won't let your kids watch Harry Potter, that makes a lot of sense. Most rappers, they'll say stuff like, oh, I sold my soul and da-da-da-da and whatever. Like, even Billie Eilish, which I love her, but she says it in her song. Like, she's definitely not like demonic or anything.
Sell my soul, cause I can't say no, I can't say no.
Yeah, like, if you let your kids listen to that, like, think about that a little bit. Let's get into dating as a black nerd. Dating, and not just dating, also making friends, so like relationships in general. It is so hard if you were a black nerd to make friends. For me, it is so hard to date, especially if you're somebody who wants to date someone of the same race as you, or say maybe you're a Spanish nerd. I don't know. I don't really care personally, but trying to date outside of your race is a whole nother struggle within itself. I have such a hard time dating. And if you are super nerdy or you are a black nerd, let me know. And also, my friend, she had a really hard time dating. She got lucky and she met her boyfriend. But she never had a boyfriend until her boyfriend now, who's like super nerdy, obviously, so they're like perfect for each other. I never have anything to talk about. Black guys feel like all they need to do is buy Jordans, watch the game, and play 2K and buy damn leather couches. Like, no, you can have a little more depth to you. It's okay to be quirky. Like, oh, I'm taking this little smudge brush and now I'm smudging the bottom with this purple here. Like, literally, my ex, we had nothing in common. We had nothing in common. Oh my God. And that is the hardest thing for dating with me. For me personally, as a black nerd, I don't relate to a lot of those like Tyler Perry and stuff like that. I don't relate a lot to those. I don't find them really interesting. And also, like, I don't like to watch them because I feel like they feed into the stereotype of black people or black women being one kind of way. And I was actually having a discussion with a girl on Instagram about this. Is like, black women are so underrated. Black women are they're undesirable. Like, I watched this one podcast and they have so many different kinds of guests on, but they have yet to have a black woman on. I'm not gonna say the name of the podcast. And I'm like, what the hell? Icy blue in the inner corner. And I know people see a lot of like young rappers who are like, oh, I'm so hood, I'm so street, I'm so this. But there are some black people who really never seen a gun, who never sold drugs, who never done that. And it's okay if you haven't. Like, and I have seen a gun. I never sold drugs. I never sold drugs? No. Can't say that's on my list. And even if you have seen a gun and you have sold drugs, that doesn't mean you can't be a nerd too. Like, we gotta highlight the hate out of our faces. And sometimes it can be really hard for me to talk with people outside of like people like with other black guys or like guys of color, because there's not really many like connecting points or relating points. So I mean, let's just say that's the reason why I'm single. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if that's the reason why I'm single. There might be something wrong with me, which I'm trying to self-reflect. This is some Black Radiance Nasty lip gloss. It looks like lip gloss circa like 2001. I'm just doing this, you can see. I use it as eye gloss because you gotta get creative. It's kind of lifting mine already, but it's okay because we'll layer it back on top. Layer it back over. Woo, look at that. Okay, we're back. My hair looks a little bit different. This is not the finishing look, but we're gonna do the finishing touches. So let me just tell you guys what I did while my camera was charging. I just popped white eyeliner on in my waterline, black at the top, mascara, lashes, obviously. I did a little highlights under my eye, and I just basically amped up my highlight. Oh, also I added 3 different kinds of glitter, kind of give it that effect. My lash, I had to add a little bit more so it's drying, and then I'm gonna stick it back on. So the way that I do my freckles, I know there's a billion different ways that you can do them. Actually, let me try a couple different ways. I've seen people use like these stippling brushes and do them. I'm gonna stick my stippling brush in my pomade. This is the shade medium brown. Oh, that was the worst idea that I've ever had in my life. And we're gonna do this. But yeah, kind of what I was touching on with dating, I just twist it. It's like, I think like, you know, the black man, he feels like he can't, you know, black men sometimes feel like they can't show emotion because it's considered like a sign of weakness. And I think that is something that's changing as time goes on. But yeah, they try to act like they can't, you know, be affectionate or show emotion or... Okay, now it's time for the blush. We need pink. So I have a Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked highlighter, but I'm going to use this as a blush. It's just pink shimmery highlighter. And then I'm going to mix it with the e.l.f. Blush palette as well. And I'm going to use the really pink shades. It's really, really pink, which I don't know if this is going to look right on my skin, but who cares? Maybe you should do the freckles after you do the blush, I'm realizing now, but you know. And it's also like, just because you have a dorky side to you or you are nerdy doesn't mean you look a certain way. Like, let's get rid of these normal stereotypes. Like, that they create on TV. Like, you don't look a certain way, or you don't like do a certain thing. And I think, like, you know, as black people, sometimes it's like we're so afraid to be outside of the stereotype because we're gonna get made fun of by our peers. And it's not saying that you can't be nerdy and have a bombshell body, but I think, like, there's more depth to you as a person. Now we're gonna do the little nose highlight that everybody just loves. Like, I've been watching people go into like Game of Thrones parties and like Harry Potter parties, and I'm like, I wanna go, but I don't have friends who like that kind of stuff. Oh, this is kind of cute actually. I think I got smacked in the face, but it's so cute. Okay, so now we're gonna take the Aquaphor, baby. The Aquaphor, just a tiny bit. That's all you need. Pop it right where the highlight is. Okay, I'm gonna replenish my frecks because I think I kind of probably should have did my blush first. But yeah, I'm just looking for a boy who wants to go to Comic-Con with me. When I meet a nerdy boy, I be falling in love. And they don't even like me. Maybe this was just all about me not being able to find somebody. But anyway, I'm going to use Unicorn Tears from Too Faced and this Wet n Wild Color Icon lip. The shade is Lilac Theater. Alright guys, Legolas, I'm ready for you, babe. I'm coming for you. Alrighty guys. Okay, this is the finished look. We are ferried out right now. I am absolutely loving this look. It's a lot. It's a lot. Just love me. If they had elf ears, I would have a little elf ear sticking out. Let's just do this. Guys, I really like this look. It is so cute. I'm actually gonna dress like this every day now, so I'm gonna show up to work on Monday like this. I love it. This is so pretty. I feel like I'm having like an elf wedding. Oh my god. And also, let me just say, this video is very subjective because I do live in a very small state. Yeah, okay, if you're a little nerdy, if you're a little fun, if you're a little like into beauty and fashion and just being a freaking weirdo, being a little bit goofy and having a good time, I am here every week, so make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was so much fun. If there's any other nerd videos you guys want me to do, make sure to leave a comment. Make sure to let me know, and let me know your feelings on what I was talking about today. Have a great day. Remember, breathe positivity into the air and it'll come back to you. Bye. I'm losing a flower. I'm losing a flower.